Welcome,
मैंने
ma'am.
कर लिया, ठीक है।
Dr. Laxmi, ma'am.
एक cordless
She's
दे
a
दे।
very senior gynecologist. She's a medical director and senior consultant, Shrikhande Hospital and Research Center from Nagpur. And she has got a long, very long list of achievements. uh, so, and I seriously believe that this is a topic where all our youngsters should be present, Gen Z should be present. Beware of packaged foods.
Yes, not only youngsters, nowadays we are also relying so much on these packed foods because nobody wants to cook at home. So that is the problem. So I start with this one statistics. When and how much Indians they check nutritional information when buying packed food. It applies to all age groups. हम पैक्ड फूड जाते हैं मॉल में, फटाफट फटाफट जल्दी में खरीद के डाल देते हैं अपने कार्ट में. वी नेवर बॉदर टू रीड. सो स्टडीज़ देखिए, व्हेन बाइंग सर्टन टाइप्स ऑफ फूड, जब आपको सर्टन स्पेशल टाइप चाहिए, व्हेन आई एम थिंकिंग ऑफ बाइंग द प्रोडक्ट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, तो आप क्यूरियोसिटी में शायद थोड़ा पढ़ लेते हो. व्हेन आई एम ऑन ए डाइट और ट्राइंग टू लूज वेट, तो कैलोरी कॉन्शियस है तो आप सही में पढ़ते हैं. व्हेन आई हैव द टाइम, स्क्रॉल कर रहे हैं, टाइम बहुत है मॉल में, always only 14% people they always read the pack the label before buying. When you are buying certain food for children, then only 12% read, and never 7% they never bother to read. So are you aware that we do have labeling regulations in India? Every packed food has to be labeled in accordance to the packaging and labeling regulations as per the FSSAI 2011, that is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So as per the rule, the label should have following information, that is the identifying statement, that is what is the name of the product, net weight or net contents, list of ingredients in order of weight in the package, artificial coloring, flavoring and preservatives added, not added, how much added, what is added, percent of daily value based on 2000 calories a day, and that is veg or non-veg symbol. Apart from that, what is the nutritional information, name and complete address of the manufacturer or the packer, code number, lot number, batch number, date of manufacturer, best before date, instructions for use, allergy information, and whether the packet is claiming for any health or nutritional claims. So आप बोलोगे हमारे पास कहाँ समय है इतना सब पढ़ने का, पर पढ़ना चाहिए. Currently, most of the packet food, the companies they print nutritional details of the contents, including their recommended daily values, at the back of the package. Per according to the new laws, now the food companies have to they have to print the fat, sugar, and salt content in the front of the packed food. So क्या क्या देखना है और कैसे देखना है वो हम आपको अभी बताते हैं. How to read food labels without being tricked. Consumers are more health conscious than ever, so some food manufacturers use misleading tricks to convince people to buy highly processed and unhealthy products. So everyone should know how to read food label so that you can differentiate between mislabeled junk and truly healthy food. तो सबसे पहले नाम से शुरू करते हैं. नाम में क्या होता है, आप योगर्ट खरीदने गए हो, आपको पता है कि कर्ड अलग है, योगर्ट अलग है, नेचुरल योगर्ट अलग है, दिस फ्लेवर्ड योगर्ट अलग है. यू हैव टू रीड द नेम ऑफ द फूड, मस्ट बी क्लियरली स्टेटेड एंड नॉट बी confusing or unclear. If the food has been processed in some way, the process must be included in the title, that is whether these apricots are dried apricots, whether your peanut is salted peanuts, or the bacon is a smoked bacon. The name must also describe the difference between apparently similar products, like whether it's a fruit yogurt, which differentiate it from artificially fruit flavoring yogurt. All packet food must carry the net quantity by weight or volume or number as the case may be. The net quantity of the commodity contained in the package must exclude the weight of the wrappers and the packaging materials. तो टिन का वेट उसको नहीं लगाना है उसमें. So what is the first thing? आप सबसे पहले क्या देखोगे? When you are looking, the first thing you have to look at the number of servings in the packet, that is serving per container, and what is the serving size, क्योंकि ये अलग अलग हो सकता है. So if it is saying कि nutrition labels they state how many calories are and nutrients are in a standard amount of the product, often they suggest a single serving. It is not there in the entire product or entire tin. So it has to be multiplied, like your packet is saying it has 17 servings or it is having 20 servings, then you have to multiply it by that number of servings. However, these serving sizes are frequently much smaller than what we people consume in our day-to-day practice. So that also you must remember. This is just an example. 5 gram fat is equal to 1 teaspoon of fat. I have shown you the picture. If a food says that it has a 30 gram fat per serving, that is equivalent to eating 6 teaspoons of fat. That you all should remember. 5 gram sugar is equal to 1 teaspoon of sugar. So if a can of soft drink has 40 gram sugar, that is like eating 8 teaspoons of sugar. So that is how you have to calculate what you are consuming. So if you have diabetes, now you understand ki how catastrophic it can be. So you have to be very, very careful. Now coming to the fat. If a food has less than 0.5 gram of saturated fat in the serving size on the label, the food maker can say it contains no saturated fat, that is legally allowed. Remember this, if you eat more than one serving, है ना, एक serving में less है, which is allowed, but if you are eating more than one serving, then it surpasses the permitted limit. You should also pay attention to the trans fats on any food label, because these are bad cholesterol. We had full session on that fat part. These fats are mostly found in snack foods and desserts, and many fast food restaurants use trans fats for frying, क्योंकि वो सस्ता होता है और बहुत टेस्टी होता है. ट्रांस फैट, इसलिए हमको समोसे बहुत टेस्टी लगते हैं, क्योंकि वो एक ही तेल में बार बार फ्राई किए जाते हैं. नाउ कमिंग टू द सोडियम, salt. That is the main, sodium is the main ingredient of salt. So this number is also very, very important when you are counting it according to the number of servings. You should not eat more than 2300 milligram of sodium per day. So this is the sodium that is in one measuring teaspoon of table salt. Now you have to study the ingredient list. अब वो इतने सारे होते हैं, इतने बारीक अक्षर में होते हैं कि हमको सबको सही में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता है, उतना समय भी नहीं होता है. पर सबके पास मोबाइल फ़ोन है. मोबाइल फ़ोन में एक ये होता है मैग्नीफायर, पता है, तो टेक हेल्प ऑफ दैट मैग्नीफायर. एटलीस्ट फर्स्ट 10 इंग्रेडिएंट्स तो पढ़िए आप, क्योंकि इफ़ द फर्स्ट इंग्रेडिएंट इंक्लूड रिफाइंड ग्रेन्स, अ टाइप ऑफ शुगर और अ हाइड्रोजनेटेड ऑयल, you can assume that this product is unhealthy. In addition, any ingredient list that is longer than 2 to 3 lines, it suggests that product is highly processed. इसके लिए उसके ingredient की list बहुत ज़्यादा लंबी है. Now I cannot read the whole slide because of the shortage of time, but you have to be very, very careful because sugar in the packed food goes by many, many, many names. सो फिर से वहाँ पे आप गूगल की हेल्प ले सकते हो अगर आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, क्योंकि एक प्रोडक्ट में 10 टाइप के शुगर अलग अलग नाम से हो सकते हैं. एंड वन टाइप ऑफ शुगर इज़ इन परमिसिबल लिमिट, अदर टाइप ऑफ शुगर इज़ ऑल्सो इन द परमिसिबल लिमिट. पर जब आप उसको ऐड करते हैं तो इट बिकम्स टू मच फॉर आवर बॉडी टू कंज्यूम दैट टाइप ऑफ शुगर. सो दीज आर द वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ शुगर विच आई हैव एडेड, विच आई हैव शोन यू हियर. And if you see any of these in the top spots on the ingredient list or several kinds of sugar in the list, then the product is definitely high in added sugar. Now what about the food additives? Addition of coloring matter should be mentioned on the label along with the statement like it contains permitted natural colors just beneath the list of ingredients. Also it should write if it contains added flavor. Now have a look at this slide. When you see natural flavor, we all get carried away कि इसमें तो सच्ची में natural banana flavor है, natural strawberry flavor है, but are they really natural? You can see the chemical name for those natural flavors. Banana natural flavor is isomyl acetate, orange natural flavor is limonene. So all natural flavors also when they are writing, they are adding the natural flavoring agent which is also a chemical. Versus the artificial flavors. You can see that I have compared natural flavors with the artificial flavors. Over 2000 chemicals are combined to make 500 natural flavors. They are typically created and combined in labs. Of course, they are made from edible ingredients, whereas the artificial flavors are made from the inedible ingredients. So you should see whether your product is containing natural flavors or artificial flavors. Also you should see, हमारे बच्चे बहुत मैगी के फ़ैन थे, मेरे भी बच्चे थे. So मैगी में क्या लिखा होता था? They used to give the code name, जो हम कभी बॉदर नहीं करते हैं पढ़ने का. प्रिजर्वेटिव्स के कोड नेम्स होते हैं, जैसे 211 in Maggi tomato ketchup which is a preservative. 211 means sodium benzoate. तो अगर कुछ ऐसा कोड नेम भी लिखा है तो यू कैन टेक हेल्प ऑफ द गूगल टू डिकोड कि व्हाट इज द प्रिजर्वेटिव दिस प्रोडक्ट कंटेन्स. Allergy information, it is mandatory on their part to mention on the food label. Date mark, it has to be there. So what is the difference between use by and best before? बहुत सारे products पे use by this लिखा होता है, बहुत सारे पे best before this date लिखा होता है. Use by is found on perishable foods. Example, meat, fish. Foods are not safe to eat after this date. That is use by. Best before is found on a wide range of food including fresh, frozen, dried, canned and other foods. You can eat these foods after the best before date, but they may not be at their best quality. So you have to remember this. Veg or non-veg symbol is mandatory on them. Name, address has to be there so that if there is any problem with the product, you can complain, you can contact the manufacturer, or if it's an imported product, then the name of the packer who has packed it and who is selling it in India has to be there. Lot or batch mark, it is there. Barcodes are of not any use to us. वो रिटेल वालों के लिए होता है, मॉल वालों के लिए होता है फॉर देयर स्टॉक मेंटेनेंस. प्रिपरेशन इंस्ट्रक्शंस, अगर आप पैकेट खरीद रहे हो तो इट इज़ ऑलवेज देयर. दे हैव टू मेंशन इट इन डिटेल हाउ दिस फूड शुड बी कंज्यूम्ड, वेदर इट शुड बी हीटेड, व्हाट शुड बी द टेम्परेचर ऑफ द ओवन, व्हाट शुड बी द कुकिंग टाइम. If there are any special storage instructions, again they have to mention it on the food label. Now coming to the genetically modified food content. On January 1, 2013, India joined a select band of countries where food containing genetically modified content must be labeled on the product as such. The Legal Metrology Rules 2011 says every package containing the genetically modified food shall bear at the top of its principal display panel the letter GM. That means the product is genetically modified. Now whether these nutrition labels lie? Very much. Nutritional fact labels are not always factual. For starters, the law allows a pretty lax margin of error, that is up to 20%, for the stated value versus actual value of the nutrient. In reality, that means a 100 calorie pack could theoretically contain up to 120 calories and still may not be violating the law because 20% is allowed. In April 2019, FSSAI introduced strict regulations against false claims and misleading information. For example, soup package that mention being healthy or nutritious can't make this claim since they are high in sodium. We all remember the famous this Nestle case, the Maggie case, they were in the dock for a 17-year-old complaint on the flouting infant food formula making. Now, what kind of claims are legal? There are three categories of claims: health claims, nutrient content claims, and structured claims. So, it is important to note that health claim or nutrition claim or risk reduction claim made in the label will be thoroughly scrutinized by the authorities. Hence, any such claim must be validated by test data. As per the rules, the following is the definition for health claim, nutrition claim, and risk reduction claim. That is, if it is really healthy, the health claim, then the product has to have positive contribution to the health or to the improvement of function or to modifying or preserving the health or disease. Nutrition claims means it implies that the food has particular nutritional properties, and risk reduction claim is in the context of health claims, means it significantly alter a major risk factor for a disease or health related condition. So, health claim establishes a relationship between a food disease or medical condition. For example, claims like good for heart, बीच में बहुत एक ऑयल आया था good for heart, सब लोगों ने बहुत खरीदा और बहुत खाया. Good for growing children, बहुत सारे products हैं. Nutritional claims quickly inform a consumer of nutritional value, that is low fat or zero cholesterol. A nutrition claim describes what a food contains. Example include low fat, high fiber, reduced sugar or zero trans fat symbol. But यहाँ पे catch ये है कि a zero calorie product can actually contain up to 4 calories per serving, which is allowed to them. A fat-free product can contain up to 0.5 grams of fat per serving. Again, remember the word per serving. A low-fat product can have as much as 3 grams for solid products after and 1.5 gram for liquid products. These are all legally permissible to them. So, ज़्यादा समझाने के लिए look at this slide and you will understand what I am talking till now about those 3 health claims. Don't assume that all foods displaying the word light are low in fat or calories. हम assume करते हैं. The term light or light on a food label may also mean the food is light in fat, light in salt, light in color, or even light in taste. So the characteristic which makes the food light must be stated on the label. So make a closer look to see what really mean when the packet food is saying it is light. So are there any exemptions to this mandatory nutritional labeling? Yes, fresh fruits and vegetables, raw meat, poultry, fish, seafood, alcoholic beverages, foods which are sold at roadside stalls, stands, crafts and the melas. So the shopping tip, read the ingredients, what you are really getting and multiply it by the number of servings which that packet is containing. Watch for sugar content and the calories in that product. Look at the serving size because the product mentions the smaller, the smaller size, what we are consuming in our kitchens. And what is the number of serving per container, and look at the nutrients, the list. At least try to read first 5 to 6 ingredients in that packed food. And thanks to the food labeling regulations, consumers can now make a wise decision and choice before buying processed food products off the shelf, and you can feel safe than sorry. Friends, I am really grateful for the support, mentorship and confidence reposed in me throughout my journey, and I humbly seek your blessings and continued support as I strive to contribute meaningfully to Foxy and the cause of women health in the years ahead. In the capacity of Foxy representative to AOFOC, I invite you all to join us for the AOFOC conference, which will be at Sydney from 12 to 15 October 2026. The abstract deadline is 1st of April. So prepare, send your abstract, do join in large numbers, and if you are interested, please send me a message on my personal WhatsApp. And this is the FIGO conference in the capacity of FIGO committee member of climate change. I invite you all to join this FIGO conference, which will be in 2027 from 31st October to 5th of November. So thank you friends, thank you so much for your patient hearing. और आज के बाद लेबल ज़रूर पढ़ें, 1 मिनट लें, मैग्नीफायर का यूज़ करें, गूगल का यूज़ करें और हेल्दी प्रोडक्ट ही बाय करें. थैंक यू सो मच.